Hey there, and welcome to this lesson. In this lesson, we're going to be talking about how to build a portfolio that converts. So what even is a portfolio? If you don't know what a portfolio is, if you're not sure, it's basically like an online resume, kind of showing your previous work so that when clients hire you, they can see past case studies, they can see the work that you've done previously. It's really good because they can kind of imagine themselves seeing and being in that process and getting that completed work. It's really just showing off your skills and visual presentation all on your website. But there's really a key to doing this right. I mean, you might just be like, can I just put my work on my website, like call it good? And like that is what a lot of designers do and they still get jobs. But I think especially if you want to be hired for strategy and if you want to get hired for your strategic thinking, it's best to give that credit and talk about that because clients, again, just don't understand what goes into the design process and how design solves a problem. And so when you link your work that you've created to it solving a problem and you tell a story with it, you're able to show that strategic thinking, ultimately charge and demand that higher premium price because you're showing the value that you really create. You're not just showing the end tangible that's really pretty, you're showing that you can solve problems and you're a valuable person on a team. Now on your website, you're going to want to have, this is my portfolio and it's like got links to different projects and previous clients. Now when they click on that link and it brings them to a specific page that has more in-depth information about that project, usually what a lot of designers will do is they'll just show images of the work that they created and that's it. What I want you to do instead is to try telling a story with that work. The reason that is because when you're telling that story, it's so much easier for people to picture themselves again in that scenario. They're able to picture themselves hiring you. They're able to see like, yeah, I have that problem too, or that's something that I would love to do along the process, and they're able to get a lot more excited about working with you. So what kind of a story are you telling this person? Whoever's reading your site. So what you really want to talk about is 3 different things. 1, you want to talk about problem, what the initial problem was, why did this client come to you? Next thing is the insight. What are the things that you discovered along the process? How are you a valuable asset again to the team? What did you discover? And then how did you, third, put that into a solution? So here's a few things that you can kind of talk about in those 3 subjects. Where was your client before you started working together? What were some goals that you were working towards? How did you accomplish those goals? Can you share your process at all? Like, what was your thinking? Do you have any pictures or drafts or sketches? And explain your decisions and why. Anytime you can take all of those questions and answer them in those 3 key areas that you really want to hit on when you're talking about the portfolio, talk about that. Before you even share any images, tell the story of what happened before you created all this stuff. Now you also, before you start sharing any images, you want to share any specific solutions or specific results that you created with this client. And again, the more specific that you can get, the better. Like if you can put in numbers, if you can put in any really tangible items in the results, it makes it 10 times more better and real. So if you can say things like, we doubled their relationship, 10 times their sales, booked a package that same day, etc. Whatever you can say that feels really tangible so people can kind of like grasp onto that and they can say, yes, that's something that I want. So how should you put up your images on your site? Now that we've talked about what to talk about before you even put your images on the site, let's get to the images because we've got that part covered. So again, we want to kind of try and tell a story. So the best way to do that is to not just have like screenshots and screen grabs of your work, but to instead photograph them and put them in real life scenarios. Now, I know what you're probably thinking, like, what the heck, Carly? I can't photograph everything in my portfolio. I know, I can't too. Some things I can, some things I can't. Ideally, you should, and there are ways to work around this. Like you can collaborate with creatives, you can get your own camera and shoot. There's lots of different ways to get your work photographed cheaply. But again, I know that can't always work, and so a lot of the times what I will do as well, I do mock-ups. Now these are a lot of my favorite mock-ups. I've got all the resources in the links below. And I've got a list of my favorites on Creative Market because Creative Market is a little bit broad. So I've got like my very specific favorite resources on Creative Market that you can use. I love Artboard Studio. That's kind of like a program for creating mockups. Moyo Studio, they have like a really awesome membership for designers, but you can also just buy individual mockups as well. Backdropstock.com isn't necessarily a mockup resource, but I love to use them whenever I'm creating mockups because they have amazing background stock imagery. I love backdropstock.com, and I've also got an affiliate link for them below. And then Creative Market just has tons and tons of different resources for everything. So I'm linking my favorites to there below. So now that you know how to actually structure the portfolio, you might be thinking like, Carly, what if I don't have any clients yet? Or what if my portfolio doesn't reflect how I want it to? If you're not happy with the work that's already in your portfolio, we're going to talk about that too. So these are all projects that I did that are portfolio building projects. These weren't with real life clients. These are projects that I did for myself, that I did for fun. You can see I got them photographed, and it was a really fun project for me. And you can do something like this too, and I'm going to show you how. So what I want you to do, because I do believe you need to have at least 3 really good pieces in your portfolio that reflect the work that you want to. So depending on how many pieces in your portfolio that you already have that you could go off of, pick, 1, 2, or 3 clients in mind that you would love to work with. And these are going to be clients that you really actually would want to work with in real life. Like if this client were to hire you and reach out to you, you would just die of excitement. This would be your ideal project to work on. And so for me, I chose things that I was really passionate about. Now, these are things that don't necessarily fit in with my niche anymore, but they're things that I'm really, really passionate about. And while I was still trying to figure out like what my niche was, like where I would fit in the industry, I just went off of solely what I was passionate about. So for me, I love fishing, I love hot drinks, and I don't necessarily love makeup, but makeup brands really, really inspired me. Like I was seeing it all over my Pinterest board. So what I decided to do was I decided to create like a fish oil brand, a coffee brand, and I decided to create a beauty brand. Now, once you've decided what your 1 to 3 clients are going to be, you're going to create a Pinterest board for each client, just full of inspiration so that you can kind of get a visual direction of where you want to go. So here's an example of my fish oil brand one, and here's an example of my Orego beauty brand one. Now you can see that the work is actually quite different. This one is really pretty colorful, it's light, it's minimal, and then this one is like pretty organic, it's a little bit darker. And I did that on purpose because I wanted the pieces in my portfolio to really show and reflect that I can do the same aesthetic, but do it in different ways. I wanted to really have a portfolio that showed my vast capabilities. And I think that's really important because different pieces of my portfolio have attracted different types of clients. And then once I kind of decided what to do and like the direction I wanted to go, I just started designing any collateral pieces that I wanted with them. I just kind of went crazy. It was really, really fun actually for me to just design whatever I wanted to. Then once I had the pieces designed, I got together and collaborated with creatives who were on the same level as me, who wanted to get more into the commercial world. And for me, coming out of the wedding industry, there was lots and lots of creatives who wanted to get more commercial work into their portfolio. And so they were able to do it for free. They wanted to do it for free. They were really talented. And so I was able to get a full photo shoot team and do that for under $50. We did 3 shoots in one day, and we did it all for under $50. We got really nitty gritty with everything. I just bought some random like coffee cans off of Amazon, and then I printed the labels myself, glued them on. I didn't buy actual stickers. I just printed things out professionally and then again glued those onto like bottles to make it look like a sticker. For my boxes, I just like Googled like a box cutout, and so then I designed within that little cutout. I printed it out and then I cut it out and I folded the box to make it look real, and like it looked legit. And so I got really, really nitty gritty here. I just did whatever it was that I could to make it look real and to make it photograph really, really well. And so we did this all under $50. So just to recap everything, when you're showing your work on your website, you really want to tell the story with a portfolio, because this is going to allow your clients to imagine themselves and see themselves in that scenario so much easier. We also want to get very specific in your portfolio. If you can tell that story and link it back to very specific results, Again, it's just going to convert so much better for your clients when you can get tangible numbers, tangible results. Third thing is to photograph or mock up everything. You want to, again, going with this story, we're going to show your designs in real life. And then fourth, if you don't have any clients or portfolio you would like, build one and you know how now. It's really, really easy. So I will see you guys in the next bonus lessons and talk to you later.